1/1 bouncer.
So,
And Mullen's not scooping. I'm sure Mullen's got a little bit of sauce.
Tommy started off a little rough in this tournament with an 0-2, but once he got his tournament face back on, he's struggling with a little bit here. Once he got his tournament mentality back, is what he was talking about. He's just made great plays all weekend. We've watched him. We've just watched him win games. And really understand the synergy of his cards, understand the contents of his deck, and long-term strategies throughout his games. And you even see it, last round. It's a subtle play with the Veil of Secrecy. But he can't let
It was huge, though. It's subtle, and not everybody would necessarily see it, but just the threat of making that unblockable, all of a sudden Malin knows this guy's going to get bounced, and he's going to be potentially dying the next turn, so he's forced to chump block. So he effectively killed a creature with it.
Because he would be perfectly willing to take 3 from the slave and go to 2 there, and then just swing back for 1 for the win. He only needs 1 point. So it's got to be, that was a painful chump block for him there. But he had no choice. Here comes another Araba Moth Rider. It's another Araba Moth Rider. Now we just heard.
Yeah, there's another Moth Rider.
Was that Mullen we just heard talking about life totals?
Yeah, I think so.
So he said 8. Is he?
All right, so Wallamies picks up the scout. Pay the upkeep for Sero.
First time comment?
Trampling Sero?
Does trample. So Marlon's dead unless he has a trick, right?
Correct.
That's 5.
So
he's dead unless he plays a trick.
He was concerned about his deck. He felt he didn't have any combat tricks other than a Mending Hands when I talked to him.
Mending Hands?
That was about the closest thing to a combat trick that he had.
Is that enough here?
Well, it is if he doesn't die, if he can block in a way that he doesn't die. But I don't see where...
He's still going to have to chump, though, right? He's got Mending Hands, yeah. He chumps Oni Slave. 6. Mending Hands, he goes down to 1.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way the math works out for him if he does have Mending Hands.
Well, he lives, but he's going to have to top deck. Yeah. He's still in top deck mode.
Right. Okay. More deck lists are trickling in, which means...
Oh, what is that? Blessing of Leeches?
That's the game.
Is that for the game?
That is for the game.
My God, look at Tony Wallamies' face! What just happened?
Blessing of Leeches for...
Blessing of Leeches!
After all that hard work?
Oh, no!
I guess he had 2 combat tricks there. A little bit of a poker face from Anti-Malin.
Oh, jeez.
He doesn't forget to regenerate.
And he's at 1, isn't he?
Tommy is at 1.
But so's Marlon. Doesn't he take 5? Doesn't he die to the upkeep?
Well,
Blessing of Leeches costs you a life every turn, right?
Oh, but he prevented the damage.
Down to 1. Why did he go to 2? Yeah.
And then he prevented
4.
4.
Oh, Mending Hands prevents 4.
Right.
Wow, so he goes to 2. Upkeep, he goes to 1. Yeah, Mending Hands prevented exactly enough. It's 1 to 1. Wow.
And the key one of the key points of damage he prevents is from
the Mistblade.
The Mistblade,
doesn't get bounced,
so his creature doesn't get bounced.
Wow.
I'm looking at Anti's deck list right now.
Does Wallamies have anything, or is he just going through the motions? Oh. Plays the 1/4 pro color guy. There it is.
Yeah.
Wow, Anti-Malin.
That was a
Blessing of
game.
Leeches and Mending Hands to grab victory from the jaws of defeat.
I think those are the only 2
spectacular
combat
game.
tricks in his deck.
Jeez. Yeah. Wow.
Mending Hands.
Whew.
He does have a Hirobi's Whisper also.
What a... Jeez. Wallamies' face was priceless, too.
Yeah,
All right, well, we're going to go back to Table A and get a look at Arnos Zidic and Tsuyoshi Fujita.
As Arnos is up 2 games on
Yeah,
the Resident Genius.
Zidic leads 2-0. It's best 3 out of 5, so he just needs to win one of the next 3 games. And all of a sudden, our top 8 will go from 2 Japanese superstars down to 0.
The 2 emerging superstars, potentially.
Potentially. The Japanese players haven't won a game between them yet, either.
Now, Tsuyoshi Fujita is not regarded as a strong limited player. This is only the second time he's even made day 2 of a limited Pro Tour.
That's crazy. He's been playing since season 3.
He has been playing a very long time. He's a constructed specialist. He builds incredibly influential and powerful decks, but his drafting has not caught up to his ability to cast Patriarch Spinning. So right now he's got Spring Caller and a
Twisted Reflection.
Twisted Reflection, yeah.
Up against Cloud Skater, Teardrop, Zubera, and Empty Graves.
Cloud Skater's just such a huge card now with Saviors.
Definitely.
It's gone up in a number of people's pick orders. Yeah, Zidic's
been using the Cloud Skater pretty aggressively.
Certainly looks that way. He's only got 3 lands in play. Got a big handful of cards. Looks like he's holding some stuff there. Just see the edge of it.
Fujita's really impressed me this season. I mean, as we said, he's been around since season 3. He was the first Japanese player to ever make a top 8. But all of a sudden, he was, 9th at Columbus.
9th in Columbus.
Barely misses that top 8. Philadelphia, he finishes 20th.
Finishes 20th, and his
deck finishes 9th. Exactly. So it's just been a spectacular year for him. Meanwhile, how many times has he changed the face of Standard?
I think he really emerged at Grand Prix Bangkok with Goblin Bidding. He had seen the early German version that had done okay at German Nationals, and took it from more of a casual deck that had done well to a really tuned tournament deck, and just tore through the tournament with it. It wasn't even close, and completely affected the metagame going into Worlds in Berlin that year.
Yep.
And he just seems to do that 2 or 3 times a year now.
Yeah, he's just clearly one of the great minds in the game right now. And his game is in such good shape that now all of a sudden he's having success at Limited as well. As you say, not his specialty, but it's no surprise to me to see Tsuyoshi Fujita in the top 8. I was just thinking about it yesterday as I was watching him make his run. It's like, does he really just have the one? Seemed like the kind of guy that should have 3-4 Pro Tour top 8s.
He's one of the most dominant Grand Prix players in history.
True.
There's Alex Schwartzman right up at the top. There's Kai and John, but then you have this group of Japanese players that really cut their teeth. They couldn't try. They didn't want to put up with the expense of traveling to a lot of Pro Tours early on. It's very, very expensive to travel to from Japan to the United States,
right, or
even to Europe a couple of times a year. So they really got their magic on the Grand Prix circuit. And Fujita, Ashita, Morita, all of those guys just tore it up for years. I remember when I went to Grand Prix Bangkok to do coverage there, it was the first time I had really interacted with a lot of these guys. And, I looked up all these players' top 8 performances, and I was just staggered. I was staggered by how well they did. So, I just watched Ashita win Singapore not too long ago. We just had an Oppressive Will on Cloudhoof Kieran, which would have been a big card. So Fujita loves his counter spells in Limited. I've seen him cast Oppressive Will more times than I've cast Oppressive Will in all the CBS drafts I've done since the set's been released. He's really gotten hard counter value out of that card this weekend. It's been really, really potent for him. I saw him in the feature match area more than a couple times. Just people tap out for a big spell and bam. So, he might know something a lot of other people don't, or maybe I have to talk. Maybe a lot of people like the card more than I do, but it's very good in blue. You're returning a lot of cards here. Blue is the best color for taking advantage